Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Arthur Smith indifferent to Steelers trade rumors, whoever Mike and Omar send my way, I'll coach 'em up. Pittsburgh Steelers OC Arthur Smith isn't necessarily any great lover of the wide receiver position. Historically, he uses tight ends at a far higher rate than most of the rest of the league, and that has held true during his 7-game run with the Steelers so far. As a former head coach, though, he is mostly glad he doesn't have to think about personnel acquisition anymore. The talking heads have been talking about the Steelers trading for a wide receiver for months. That is not without good reason, as they have made serious overtures for some big names. But with the trade deadline approaching, they are running out of time to give Smith another weapon. What are his thoughts, as a former head coach whose team traded his best receiver before his first season? That's not my role anymore to really worry about that or be involved. It was in a previous stop, Smith said via transcript provided by the Steelers' media relations department. You got new guys every day, trying to develop guys. I just focus on who's up this week. What is the plan for the guys, back in a week or two? Return to play. Whoever Mike, Tomlin, and Omar, Khan, send my way, I'll coach 'em up. We can probably add that every coordinator of a team actively trying to add to a room says these things. All one can do, especially in public comments, is focus on the players they have. Right now, Arthur Smith has Scotty Miller and Van Jefferson and Roman Wilson. I'm sure Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan want to add to the Steelers' receiving core. But unless or until that happens, that's not Smith's concern. I don't worry about that other stuff. It's irrelevant. It's like wasting energy, Smith said about the possibility of the Steelers trading for another receiver. Overall, the group, like I said, we just need to continue to get better and improve. That's real. That's every day. Like I said, Monday night they'll have a whole new set of problems against arguably one of the better fronts in the league. The Steelers have 2 weeks and 1 game to make a decision. After playing the New York Giants on Monday night, they head into their bye, with the trade deadline after that. With Russell Wilson just entering the starting lineup, that makes the evaluation process a little more difficult. And it doesn't help that they have basically been unable to evaluate Roman Wilson, their 3rd-round pick. At the very beginning of training camp, he was looking like he could potentially start for the Steelers. But an ankle injury has robbed him of nearly all developmental time, and now he has a hamstring injury. So I'm not sure if the Steelers even know if they need to trade for a wide receiver or not. The most plausible big names are already off the board. And ultimately, is it even worth it for the Steelers this year? Would a Cooper Kupp or DeAndre Hopkins make them Super Bowl favorites? Beanie Bishop Jr. credits Cameron Sutton for teaching him since returning to Steelers facility. With Cameron Sutton eligible to return after 1 more game, the Pittsburgh Steelers CB Beanie Bishop Jr. isn't changing anything about his approach. After starting the first 7 games as the slot defender, he doesn't know what the future holds. He knows Sutton could come in and take his place. But he is just doing what he has all along, and Sutton has been at his service. No, not at all, Bishop said, via the Steelers' website, when asked about changing his approach with Sutton returning. Suspended for the first 8 games of the season, Sutton has been back in the building for the past 2 weeks. During this time, he is able to do everything with the team but practice and play. Sutton, he's been helping me learn whatever, see the stuff that he's seeing, Bishop said. Kind of tried to take a veteran approach to it. He's just telling me things that he knows that obviously I probably won't because he's been in the league for 6, 7 years. Just to be able to try to help me slow the game down. Ultimately, we win as a team. He's just been trying to help me. The Steelers turned over their cornerback room since last season, releasing Patrick Peterson and moving on from Levi Wallace and Shandon Sullivan. They made no significant moves in free agency until eventually signing Cameron Sutton. While they did not draft a cornerback, they signed Bishop as a priority rookie free agent. Once training camp opened, the Steelers took the training wheels off Bishop. They allowed him to work most of camp as the starter, and on the whole, he showed it wasn't too big for him. He struggled during the first 5 weeks of the regular season before rebounding recently. Even with a 2-interception game, though, he cannot make up for the experience of Sutton. The Steelers selected Cameron Sutton in the 3rd round of the 2017 NFL Draft. He graduated from dime to nickel to starting outside cornerback over 6 years in Pittsburgh. In 2023, he signed a lucrative contract with the Detroit Lions, but his domestic violence charge led to his release. Many questioned the Steelers' decision to re-sign him, and frankly hoped Bishop would take the job. The Steelers didn't know when they signed Sutton that he would serve an 8-game suspension, though they knew of a suspension. Had they known he would miss half the season, they may have invested in more than just Bishop. But now they are just 1 game away from getting Sutton back, and arguably, they have 2 options. Bishop went through considerable growing pains, but he is better off for it. And after this next week, the Steelers will have Sutton available for whatever role they choose for him. 49ers signed former Raiders 7th-round pick to the practice squad. The San Francisco 49ers announced a practice squad transaction Thursday afternoon. The team signed defensive tackle Nesta Jade Silvera to the practice squad. The Las Vegas Raiders drafted the 6 feet 2 inches, 315-pounder in the 7th round of 2023. He's appeared in 69 snaps this season for the Raiders. Per Next Gen Stats, 40 have been against the run, where he has 5 run stops. Jade Silvera only appeared in 24 snaps last season as a rookie. Jade Silvera, along with Evan Anderson, who was recently promoted to the active roster, is insurance for defensive tackle Kevin Givens. Givens did not practice last Thursday with a groin injury. He ended up playing 24 defensive snaps against the Kansas City Chiefs. Givens was one of 6 players who sat out of Wednesday's practice due to injury. In the locker room, Nick Bosa was asked about Anderson being promoted. His initial response was, "For Kevin?" Bosa also mentioned how he believes the Dallas Cowboys will want to get their running game going. Jordan Elliott missed Week 6 with a knee injury but is no longer on the injury report. Even if Givens can't play against the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday, the Niners are gearing up to stop the run. Sam Okweononu continues to see a spike in snap counts. He played a season-high 35 against the Chiefs last week. Okweononu is playing around half the snaps, with a few of those coming inside at defensive tackle on obvious passing downs. So, if you're wondering who the coaches think is the next best pass rusher on the team, it's Sam O. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Davante Adams? Leave your opinion in the comments.